Going with Tanner. First question for Tanner. We'll start with Bryce, third row on the left.
Hey, Tanner, can you kind of talk to just the overall challenge as an entire pitching staff of dealing with not only Ohtani, but the way Ohtani's played over the last month?
I mean, he's a really good baseball player. I mean, he's got a lot of power, and then he can beat a lot of things out. And his speed and power are definitely huge for them. And yeah, you just got to work. You got to work around him, and you have to go through him. And it's a really good team over there.
Just one follow-up. Compared to other players you've faced, in this league, some of the very best All-Stars, World Series winners, how does he impact the game psychologically for a pitcher, or how do you manage that when you're facing him, knowing who that is at the plate?
I mean, you just got to look at him as another great hitter. I mean, everyone here is pretty good, and the stuff he's doing right now is pretty unreal. But I mean, you just got to look at one pitch at a time and not think ahead and just go after him.
AJ, second row.
Is that kind of mindset what you attribute some of the success that you've had against him to?
I mean, I treat everyone the same. I mean, I'm trying to get everyone out. I mean, 3 pitches or less is the ideal thing, but I mean, I just try to go out there and attack, and hopefully he doesn't hit it.
What have you enjoyed about pitching in some of these atmospheres lately, especially the postseason, but even down the stretch at Petco Park?
Oh, I mean, Petco Park, it's different. The 47,000 fans we get is awesome, and then here it's super loud. I mean, the energy is just unreal, and you can't even match it.
A few more for Tanner. Nothing else? All right. Tanner, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, we can start with Mike Shildt. First question for Mike. Bryce, third row on the left.
Hey, Mike, I know you were asked specifically about situationally pitching to Shohei or not, in an at-bat, but just in general, in an overarching way, how much does he outsize the conversation about how to deal with him when you're thinking about the bottom of the lineup, keeping traffic off in front of him, what to do when a base is open, what not to do, just because of the numbers and it's historic what he's doing right now? How much does he dominate more of the thinking than any one particular hitter would, who's just an all-star level player and good?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to unpack, and I could sit here and occupy a good portion of the afternoon to discuss through it. But the fact of the matter is you hit on a big part of it, and that's the bottom half of the order. We weren't able to keep him off in front of him. That's a big key to this, and then it becomes situational, right? And I can't go through every situation. Last night we had a situation that I felt extremely good about in how we managed that situation in the 4th inning. I couldn't have slept any better with how that went down and the matchups we got in a tough situation. And so, but specifically the Ohtani, clearly he's a generational talent. So we need to be mindful of that and, continue to play it by ear and what the situation calls for. We have conversations about it, obviously, but we get that bottom half of the order, cleaned up. They're good players too. And then figure out a way to execute against him. He's still human. I talked about it last night. We executed multiple at-bats last night and got him out. We executed an at-bat that broke his bat, that didn't allow us to get an out. And, that's part of the proverbial game. But clearly we recognize he's a dangerous part of their lineup. Did that help you out? Okay.
AJ, second row.
Like, what's the confidence level with Darvish on the mound, knowing that he's been in basically this exact same situation 2 years ago, and he's been in a number like it?
Really high. This is a tested guy, whether it's international or, clearly here. He's a guy that's pitched very well, big moments, not going to shy away from it, knows the arena. So we're excited to have him go tonight.
Now that we're past the wild card series, what was had he pitched in relief, what was his role? Was it break glass in case of emergency? Would he have been available for length? Or kind of how would you have managed that, knowing that you probably needed him for this if you'd gotten through it?
Well, I mean, anytime you're in a series, you have to win that series to get to the next one. So it wasn't exactly break glass in a case of emergency, but we have our roles for our bullpen guys. We feel comfortable and confident and use them. I mean, we had Joe go out in the fourth inning and then was able to, put together and hold the lead and bring it home. But, we're in an extra inning situation without a ghost runner. So that was primarily going to be his role. If we'd gotten extra innings and we needed some length and had gone through our bullpen, that was pretty much what we targeted him for.
Mark, in the middle of the second row.
After getting 3 1/3 from your starter last night, how's your bullpen today after having to use a lot of guys last night?
Well, he passed the ball around pretty well last night. Adam went back out. Obviously, Estrada went back out. Pretty efficient. Adam was really efficient. We knew when he went back out, we wanted to take down Hernandez. Had toyed with Muncy, but we figured okay, he got his guy. Go get Hoying to knock down the rest of that inning. Keep him fresh for today. I expect everybody to be available. We just came off 2 days off.
Go to the right side, third row.
Hey, Mike, just curious, how much does your replay strategy change in the postseason with that extra challenge that you get?
Yeah, good question. Clearly we're going to be a little more aggressive. Used it last night. Thought it was a great opportunity to do it. But especially early on, I really kind of subscribed in general to, if we think we got a shot at it, we take it. If we think we're going to get away from either saving a run or, putting together an opportunity to take away from a run or adding one, we'll take it. But yeah, having an extra one, you're going to be more aggressive early.
A few more for Mike. Got standing up on the left.
You had a tough stretch in the final 6 innings of the game. Just talk to me about how you plan to remedy that and be a little bit more consistent at the plate with these guys.
Yeah, it's an interesting question to figure out how to answer well. If I said I didn't think it was a rough stretch, you'd all think I was nuts, right? But quite honestly, I mean, our bullpen was really, really good. I mean, they bleep one in, make one mistake, and Hernandez put the swing on it. Guys were able to hold it right there. Had good enough at bats against a tough back end of their bullpen. Had chances in the 8th, chances in the 9th. Guys we like up. So I wouldn't say it was that rough. I mean, these games are thin margins sometimes, and so credit to them. They were able to execute, and like I said, the bottom of their lineup was good. They were able to take some at bats. We did a lot of really good things. The things that we would have liked to have been a little cleaner on, as far as giving a few things away. But the last 6 innings, really, if you look at it, there wasn't a whole lot there it was rough based on the outcome and not being able to execute. But as far as anything strategically or effort-wise or the way the guys went about it, I actually felt okay with it.
Last one's for Mike. All right, Mike, thanks for coming in. We'll see you post-game.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get started with Xander Bogaerts. First question for Xander. Could start with Sam in the front row on the left.
Xander, obviously you've done a lot of winning in the postseason with the Red Sox. Losing yesterday, this has been a Padres team that has bounced back nicely all second half. To you, what are the keys to bouncing back after last night?
I mean, just doing what we've been doing the whole year. Turn the page. Playoff times, you can get some really heartbreaking losses, and it's part of the game, and there's really good teams competing in big environment, big situations. I mean, those guys, they bounce back, We put runs on them early, they came back, and then we scored again. And, I mean, just couldn't get that final hit towards the end, to kind of, bounce back. But I feel like we've been doing it the whole year, where right now it's just a part of our identity, just bouncing back and being able to overcome that.
You scored some runs early, then the final 6 innings quieter, couldn't cash in the late opportunities in the 8th and the 9th. How did you feel about those final 6 innings offensively against their bullpen?
I mean, we know one of our biggest strengths is our bullpen, and not every night those guys are going to be, putting up zeros like they normally do for the most part of the year, and I mean, I'll take those guys in our bullpen any day, over everyone. So sometimes you got to understand it's not going to go their way every time. Just a tough situation for it to not go our way in the postseason game 1. But those guys, man, they've done a tremendous job. Whenever we put some runs on the board, they kind of keep it quiet, kind of shut down the bats from the other team. But yesterday was their bullpen. They did a good job keeping us off the bases.
Yesterday, Jackson had a couple of really good plate appearances in front of you, one of them before your 2-run double. Just, seeing him his first postseason experience, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, that one against Kopech. Just fouling it off, just that kid definitely doesn't look like he's 21, I can tell you that. The way he plays, the way he carries himself, definitely a lot of credit to himself, his family, for the upbringing and just showing him the way. This kid is really special, and I think he has a chance to do a lot of special things. He's already done a lot, but looks like he has a really bright future ahead of him, and hopefully I'm there for all of it.
Bryce on the left side.
Xander, given all your experience in the playoffs, World Series, all the performances you've seen at the highest level in the biggest situations, how do you put in context what Ohtani's doing right now?
He's one of the best players in the game. He's had a phenomenal season this year, first year with the Dodgers, first postseason game. That homer, tough pitch too. It wasn't like it was a pitch down the middle. He seems like he's seeing everything like a balloon right now. So he's been seeing it like that the whole year. So hopefully we can keep him quiet for tonight and the rest of the series.
Alden in the back row.
Over here, Xander. When compared to last year, this offense is a lot better at situational hitting and coming through in high leverage situations. And I know maybe a lot of that has to do with Luis Arias and Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill being in it. But how much of it was just sort of the guys coming back from last year, just sort of buying into like an unselfish approach offensively? And how did that process take place?
I think, bringing in Louis definitely helped a lot. He starts it for us. I saw Profar said wherever he goes, we go. We kind of follow him. And he's been putting up really good at bats. It's very contagious. Not trying to get too homer happy. Just trying to take your base hits, single the pitchers to death, get runners on base, and then boom. Like a 2-run homer for Manny yesterday. So looking for that big punch after you kind of like put some guys in motion, put some guys on base, get some walks. I know some guys might not be swinging it the way they want to this postseason, but they're taking their walks. Walks aren't hits, but they're getting guys on base and they're getting on base. So there's credit to those guys, and the offense that we have, we know we're gonna come through.
Go to AJ in the second row.
Xander, the way you described Ohtani reminded me kind of the way you described Ortiz during his run in the 2013 playoffs. No?
No.
Okay.
That was different. That was I think he had 7-14 in the World Series. Trying to get intentional walk and still getting hits. That was definitely the best thing I've ever seen, being on a baseball field, like in a series, and the magnitude of the series too. A World Series. It's nothing that I've seen close to that. Yeah.
If you could, from all the experience that you have in the postseason, what have you kind of learned about the teams that have been able to thrive in it? What does it take to win?
You got to bounce back quick. As I said, in the playoffs, you got some really, really tough losses. Last night, was one. We kind of were ahead twice in the game, and trusting our bullpen, knowing how good they are, we kind of thought we might have it, but that's baseball. Those guys have a really good team over there, and I think the best part of our team is the ability to bounce back, and flush out what happened yesterday and focus on today. Once we get in that hitters meeting, talk about our plan and then how we're going to execute it against these guys.
Jeff standing up on the left side.
Xander, you won a World Series here with Mookie. Can you kind of just take us back to your headspace back then and the future you guys maybe thought you had in front of you as Red Sox?
It's another special player there, Definitely played my years with him there. He was the best player I've played with, for sure. Still doing it in Dodger Blue this time, So it's very nice to be able to see that he's continued it. We still talk and stuff like that, but pretty special player, pretty special person. we know we had a nice run together. It was a nice long stretch that we had together as teammates and on our really good winning teams, making the playoffs pretty much. If not every year, we're at least in it, for the race towards the end. But we definitely had some special times, and playing yesterday here brought definitely some memories back of that World Series here.
You guys ever talk and be like, how did we end up here
Nah.
playing on the West Coast for rivals?
Nah, I mean, he went first, he got traded, not like, I don't know if it's something that he wanted or not, but I mean, I don't think he had a no trade clause, so they traded him, he had to go, so he was the first one to leave, and that really took a hit on our team, our organization. I mean, taking our best player, trading him to another team, that was really tough, and since then, I mean, pretty much for his whole career, he's been the best or one of the best players in the game. So, I mean, credit to him and all his hard work and what a guy that he is. He's special for sure.
I'm going to go to the third row in the middle.
Hi, Xander. You have been watching Ha-Seong Kim playing shortstop all the season. What is your impression, and how tough is it right now, make it through without him?
It's tough, I mean, I was hurt this year, and for the first time, I've been out for a long time, and the feeling of you showing up to a ballpark, not being able to help in the way that you want or the way that you know you can. I mean, it's tough to see from afar, I mean, Joe had to go through it for some stretch this year. Darvish was out for a little bit. Toddy was out, but this was my first year being out, so I know how tough it is. And seeing the team have success, they're definitely happy for the team, but it still hurts you a little bit, because you want to be out there and you feel like even if I'm out there, the team will probably be even better than what we are, So I know the shoulder isn't an easy thing to go through, and hopefully he gets what he needs done, and I mean, I don't really know what the future holds for him, his contract situation, but he's definitely been an excellent teammate and a guy that makes my job easier being in the infield, to tell you that for sure, because he catches pretty much every ball hit to him or close to him.
David?
Xander, following up on all your postseason experience, there's never been more than 2 seasons that you've gone without playing in the playoffs. So how blessed do you feel to have been able to do that? And number 2, have you shared the experience of winning a couple World Series with your teammates in San Diego who have not won a World Series yet?
Definitely blessed, I mean, listen, I always said I was in the World Series my first year, and the amount of pressure playing out of position, I was at third base at that time. It was really hard, and trying not to mess it up on the biggest stage was really hard, and after winning my first year, I kind of thought that this was how it's supposed to be or how it's going to be, and I think the next 2 years we were last place. So that was tough, I tell them, like, just appreciate, like, getting this far isn't by luck or isn't by accident, and appreciate it, because you never know when you're going to get the opportunity to be at this stage again, and early on in the season when I was hurt watching the games from TV, I'm telling these guys, like, man, we have something really special. And one of the things was the ability to come back in games, or after tough defeats, we bounce back the next day like nothing happened. Sometimes that can drag along, like, oh, man, we should have won that game. And it just drags on, and this team, we don't have none of that, and one of the other best parts of this team is not one person that has to do it every night, and 2013, David was the one that did a lot of it. We obviously had a lot of big hits from other guys in that series. Johnny Gomes, Victorino. In the World Series, they had some really big hits. So this year, I feel like we compared more to the 2018 Red Sox. Like just a powerhouse. Offense. I mean, the pitching, the bullpen. I mean, it's just unbelievable what we have right now.
We'll go to AJ, and then we have Pedro in Spanish.
Xander, I don't know if you knew that Jackson's triple in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series was the youngest guy to do it since yours in the World Series. Did you get any flashbacks, like watching him run around the bases there?
I didn't know, but once he hit it, I was like, I know I hit one when I was that young, but I don't know if I was the last one to do it, but I definitely did but I didn't know that was the exact answer. But this guy, I mean, me at that age, I mean, I played in the World Series, but this guy was so much better than me at that age, you know. And what's even more special is seeing him do it in a whole major league season. You know, I mean, I got called up. I had success in the minors and played a little bit in the big league. So it was much different, my situation, compared to him. Him being so consistent throughout the whole year. I mean, this guy started off hitting at the bottom of the lineup. I mean, you could probably say he can hit third or fourth in our lineup. You know, I mean, credit to the guy. That's just how good he is, you know, and how hard he's worked. And he's earned that, you know. And I think in the future, definitely that's probably one of the positions that he's going to put himself at, you know, to be a very special player. But definitely, once he hit that, I thought about that. I just wasn't sure.